saying कि हर इंडस्ट्री में गुंडा होता है और इस इंडस्ट्री के गुंडे हमें. Can we have a big round of applause for our next speaker? And before I invite him on stage, can I quickly have CJ share a quick story, and then we'll quickly have Aman on stage in conversation with Shradha Sharma.
So I've been told to come on stage for 2 minutes before every session and say a couple of lines to get your mood up. Firstly, I'm thrilled to be introducing this session because for many years we've heard people saying that India can't make a global brand. Boats today is the second largest audio brand in the world. I think that deserves a round of applause. And just to kick you off, I want to tell you one of the oldest definitions of marketing that I've ever heard in my life. What's going to be interesting is to see the sign language that you do for this one, madam. So here's the story. You walk into a bar, you see an attractive girl there, and you walk up to her and you say, "Madam, I'm fantastic in bed." That is direct marketing. You walk into a bar, you see a gorgeous girl at the bar, your friend walks up to her and says, "You know what, my friend there? He's fantastic in bed." That's advertising. You go to a bar, you see an attractive girl, you get her number, you call her the next day, and you say, "Madam, I'm fantastic in bed." That's telemarketing. Last one. You walk into a bar, you see an attractive girl, she walks up to you and said, "I believe you're fantastic in bed." That, ladies and gentlemen, is brand recognition. Let's give that applause going for the second largest audio brand in the world, and welcome our fantastic host and speaker, Shradha and Aman.
Yes, a very warm welcome to all of you. And I was just thinking, सब दिख रहा है, सब कैमरा लिए हुए हैं और रिकॉर्ड कर रहे हैं शार्क के साथ, फेवरेट शार्क के साथ बैठी हूँ. And I was just thinking, what is it that we can have a conversation on, which is not there on social? Because the topic was learning from D2C. that बहुत जबरदस्त बात है that both how they have built the brand, how they built the company has come in Harvard as a case study. And that is something that we should all be proud. Indian brand has come as a case study which people will be studying about. So I would recommend that all of you see that. But today I want to ask him things which we've not heard from him and which we would love to understand. Because I know Aman for the last couple of years, but पिछले 1-2 साल में ये सुपरस्टार बन गए हैं, शार्क बन गए हैं, बहुत बड़े हीरो बन गए हैं और ये सारा कैमरा और क्लैप्स उसका गवाह है. So the question I had is basis when I was coming and I was thinking, what should I ask him? So there is this quote, and this is for all of us, all of you in this room, and in particular for him, which is, every life is an unprecedented experiment. This life is mine alone. And I have stopped asking people for directions to places they've never been. There is no map. We are all pioneers. And I think that he is, all of us are pioneers, there's no map, no direction. But what I want to ask him, Aman, that what has these last 1 or 2 years meant for you? Because आपने बहुत youngest CA रह चुके हैं, हरमन में पहली बार सारे अखबार से लेके सारे ब्रांड्स का सेल्स कर चुके हैं, 6 startups किए हैं, and now Boat, as Papa CJ was saying, is the second most valuable brand in the world. What has these last 1 year, 2 years meant for you?
So first, that quote was not mine. It took me time to also understand what the quote meant. But before starting to your question, Shradha, I'm very happy to be here at this conference for a reason that this has happened after a few years. I think पहले कोविड के 2-3 साल तक कोई नहीं थी. तो मैं इससे पहले ना I used to sit there, right, and always dream. And 3 years back also, if you check the TiE records, I used to always sit on this side. And यार मतलब वो एक आंखों में ना उम्मीद होती थी यार किसी दिन मुझे भी TiE वाले बुलाएंगे, right? So I'm very happy to be here first. And and I hope I hope that all of you or some of you who also have that dream that you can also come here in 3 years to answer that question, right? In 2 to 3 years, the life has changed. That people from that side can also come this side, and people can that's not a problem, and it's easy to be done, and it can be done. So life has changed a lot in last 2-3 years. Professionally, personally, and things are not the same. In our company, it has touchwood grown well. We've tried to make it more professionally run. In terms of my life also, with Shark Tank, things aren't the same anymore, right? I would be lying if I say I don't like it, right? I love it, to be frank. And there was one time when I started. Some people crave about it. अरे यार बहुत मुश्किल है. I don't like this limelight. I don't like this. So I was talking to बादशाह ने बोला तो एक काम कर. अगली बार मत जा फिर ऐसे करने के लिए. तो सब कुछ खत्म हो जाएगा. तो फिर एकदम से realize किया नहीं यार मुझे अच्छा लगा मुझे जाना है. So it's been a good roller coaster ride, and God has been kind.
Aman, I have to ask you this question. You've been this guy, like, when I interacted with you first time, आप बहुत ही मतलब लगता है हम जैसे हैं, नॉर्मल है, चाहे इस सीट पे हो और उस सीट पे हो. You represent one of us, and just mentally, क्योंकि हम वहाँ पे नहीं हैं. Right now, where you are, we are not there. Many of us are not there. Mentally, क्या कुछ बदलता है in terms of as an entrepreneur, are you processing things differently? Are you doing things differently? Because जहाँ पे है उससे मुझे लगता है, because of the attention and so much of attention, there also comes a little bit of एक डर, that if things go wrong, then it massively can go wrong, right? Because things are going so right for you.
No, that's a good question, and we've seen how unfortunately, Ashneer's case was also one of the victims of being famous is also there. That if he had not been on Shark Tank, his case would not have got so much popularity. He would not have got so much media attention, right? It is both sides, and I am for sure, I can feel it that someday, and every day I'm worried about it, that someday I might, in fact, when there are so many cameras around me right now, right? There are mics around me. Someday, somewhere, and I have Arun, my PR guy, और मैं ना बड़ा मुफ्त टाइप का बंदा हूँ, तो मुझे भी डर लगता है कभी-कभी मैं कुछ ऐसा ना बोल दूँ, ठीक है, जो फिर बॉम्बार्ड हो जाएगा, राइट? और इंटेंशन कोई भी हो, वो क्लिपिंग कहीं से आके कुछ डाल देंगे, तो ये यार वो फटती कोई अच्छी बात
अमन उसका कोई अच्छा वर्ड नहीं.
So there is always that fear that something can happen. It has happened. We have live cases of people. जो मैं कल किससे मिला? बाइजूस वालों से मिला. So I was with Divya, right? At a phenomenon at Ashish's event, philanthropy event. So मैं दिव्या से बोल रहा था that what I can learn from Baijus is how media, not you, other media. You are a good media, right? So, please be kind to me. I said nice things. So there are. It's only media who make them the stars of this world, right? Then Baijus is the killer, the next big thing, higher valuation than this company, that company, and put it together all. So they make them the heroes, right? look at Paytm, look at Zomato. We all are part of the same ecosystem. We will be made heroes. Today, I might be made a hero for some reason in D2C or whatever, but there might be some time, anything small happens will also be exaggerated to that level, right? It will happen, and I'm very scared. I'm paranoid about it. But I'm getting ready that there might be, and I hope I don't do that. And that also makes me even more aware of always doing the right things. I've always, in fact, I've become more scared than what I was before, right? So it is me. It is true that I have to be careful.
One of the things I think everyone here in this room will agree is such photo मैंने Shark मतलब don't judge, but I've not seen Shark Tank except I've seen your promos, and everyone loves you.
So
the way everyone says that you are their favorite shark and you are the most loved shark. I think it's also a responsibility to be loved, and it also comes from a place of authenticity, because कहीं ना कहीं आप जो real है, and there is this देखो तो ना entrepreneur के लिए जो genuine feeling है वो आता है. I want you to tell us today that the process when you have become a unicorn, you are the second most valuable wearable brand in the world. ये सब जब होता है लाइफ में तो अपने आप को प्रोसेस क्या है जब आदमी एंकर करके रखता है, centered रहता है, because I think that's a place from which this goodness comes. Like, how do you do that? Is there something that you do? Because I think that's a tip which all of us would like to know or understand.
Can you
repeat the question? The question ये है कि good behavior, good code of conduct, good empathy, especially when everything is like, super scaling in life and not running fast, but having the presence to be present. वो कैसे होता है? क्योंकि मैंने पिछले 14 सालों में बहुत हीरोज देखे हैं, बहुत हीरोज आए हैं और गए हैं और हीरोज हैं, बट समटाइम्स जो लव के साथ हीरो बनता है वो टिकता है. तो कुछ करते हैं स्पेशल?
आप डरा रहे हो. सारे क्वेश्चन नीचे गिराने वाले लग रहे हैं. मुझे तो डर लग रहा है. मुझे डर लग रहा है अब कौन सी रिपोर्ट आने वाली है योर स्टोरी हमारे को.
Aman, I'm a good media and I like you, so and I want that thing about you to come out, that authenticity.
You are your story. You're not Ken. So you please be polite, nice to us, right? So no, so for first, when you said favorite shark and all that, I'll tell you a small story on this, right? So when Anupam and I were together somewhere, and I said, यार मुझे मेल आई है, मैं ना उनको थोड़ा सा मेरे अंदर वो दिल्ली वो क्या बोलते हैं उसको थोड़ा चलो यार तो नहीं समझ रहा हूँ, फिर से वही राइट वर्ड्स नहीं आ रहा है, बट अनुपम और मैं खड़े थे, ठीक है, तो अनुपम को मेरे पास एक मेल आई, ठीक है, एक कॉलेज से, उसने कहा था, Hi Aman, you are my favorite shark and we would like to invite you to this college and you are amazing and please do this. तो अनुपम को मैंने दिखाया, देख मैं हूँ फेवरेट, राइट? तो उसने कहा अबे रुक जा, इससे सेम मेल मुझे कल आई है. So there is nothing like that. I would say that every event depends on who is there at what time, right? So for the second part of your question, which is actually the question that why how do I stay normal and how do I stay? So again, there are whenever I'm feeling super high, like I remember Shah Rukh Khan used to say that agar he feels very high, he goes to the US to ensure that he's brought to the ground, right? मेरे ऑफिस में मैं ऑफिस चले जाता हूँ तो ऑफिस there are we work with a lot of young guys, right? Our average age is 24 25, right? So these guys are very different, and when you go to your वो कहते हैं ना घर की मुर्गी दाल बराबर types, right? या ऑफिस चले जाऊँ या फिर मैं घर चले जाऊँ, मैं मेरी वाइफ हो या मेरे पेरेंट्स हो, तो I keep telling them, and in fact I tell that to my friends also and people who love me, जहाँ तुम्हें थोड़ा सा लगे, although मेरे अंदर नहीं आया, but you never know because people say that people change, right? and people now judge me even before I have not changed, right? मेरे को अगर मैं किसी का पहले मैं वैसे ही फोन नहीं उठाता, ठीक है, नहीं उठाता, नॉर्मली नहीं उठाता क्योंकि मेरे को इरिटेशन होती है तो मैं फोन देख देख के, तो मैं साइलेंट करके उल्टा करके रखता हूँ नॉर्मली ना उठाऊं। लेकिन अब अगर मैं किसी का फोन ना उठाऊं तो पहली चीज आती है वो बड़ा आदमी बन गया। अगर मैं अब किसी का फोन ना उठाऊं तो अरे देखा तू बदल रहा है, राइट, तू एरोगेंट हो रहा है। तो अब तो मेरे को पहले I have to prove to the other person that I am the same old me before I can start answering the question, right? And frankly speaking, there is somebody who a private banker I met, right? And when you start getting money, a lot of private bankers start coming, right? So I met a private banker who came to me and said, मैंने बोला सर इसको, and मैं लोगों से पूछता रहता हूँ, मैं सीखता रहता हूँ, right? I meet somebody, I can learn anything from anyone. I love it. So I was just asking him कि सर ये बताओ, आप तो इतने सारे लोगों को मिलते हो, इतने बड़े लोगों को मिलते हो, इस चीज को मैं कैसे संभालूं कि you know अब लोगों को अगर मैं genuinely नहीं आ सकता, फिर भी लोग मुझे जज करते हैं, कहते तो कुछ भी कर ले लोग तुझे जज करेंगे, राइट? अगर तू बोलेगा ना कि अरे मैं सेम हूँ, मैं नहीं बदला, फिर भी वो तेरे को उस आंखों से देखेंगे और वेट करेंगे कि उस लाइन की जो तूने बोल दी गलती से, और बोलेंगे देख मैं कह रहा था ना जज कर रहा हूँ, ठीक है? तो अब कोई बोलता है ना तू बड़ा आदमी हो गया, मतलब हाँ हो गया, अब हूँ तो हूँ, राइट? सो आई स्टार्टेड, if people push me too much on that side, I said yeah, I'm like this, you know, I have changed, think whatever, because I can't help, I can't change your thinking towards me. If people who know me from before Shark Tank, after Shark Tank, I have been like this and I don't want to change. And if anybody who care about me, people around me, I tell them that if you see an iota of change happening in me, please stop me and guide me, right? So I take advice from people who love me rather than, you know, the whole world.
I want to ask, and I'm sure that just to get a sense, how many entrepreneurs are there in this room? Just raise your hand. Mostly. One of the things that Boat has done very successfully, if I may say so as an outsider, that they launched in 2016, and what we've read is that they got a professional CEO, and you got someone from Godrej, who's the chairman. कल ही परसों news आया है, news Google search करके, that's the first thing that comes. And your co-founder is now the CEO. So there have been some transitioning, some changes, but the decision to get a professional CEO was there very early on, where we in India, in the Indian entrepreneurship ecosystem, are still judging founders want to remain in the hot operating scene. Can you take us through that decision?
Yeah. So I'll take you to the first decision before the second decision. So entrepreneurs, yes, I've seen a lot of entrepreneurs who say that they want to do everything, right? They want to run the show, they want to run the ship. But it's not something that Sameer and I actually, we love doing what we do. And if you look at our brand tagline also, it's called Do What Floats Your Boat. And this is something which I have believed in my life, right? I was a chartered accountant. I am a chartered accountant, but I hate finance as a subject. I can't, I feel like that I can't, I don't get it. I did it just because, my dad wanted me to be a CA. So वो खुद नहीं बन पाए तो मैंने बोला मेरा बेटे को मैं सीए बनूंगा, राइट? क्योंकि मेरे ताऊजी, दादा, चाचा सब सीए थे, तो पापा ने बोला नहीं तू कर, मैं पढ़ता रहता था और मैं पढ़ गया सीए करी, और मैंने डैड को बोला मुझे नहीं करनी सीए, राइट? तो I gave it, that was the last time I actually thought I'll do anything in finance. So I have done in my life what I love doing, right? I love gadgets, so I started a company out of gadgets, and when we were starting off, in this, I used to meet a lot of VCs, right? And VCs are supposed to be, are there any VCs in this room? Okay. VCs are supposed to be know-it-all group, right? That they are the best, they know everything, right? And they had written off even before we started, right? I used to go to VCs, and they used to say, they used to say, यहाँ पे ना मेरे हाथ में लगा हुआ था, मेरा बाप Micromax है, right? So I was written off before I was born. कि तुम लोगों का कुछ नहीं होगा, तुम्हारा जैसे हार्डवेयर में इंडिया में कुछ नहीं होता, हमें ब्रांड भी हमें बोलते थे तुम लोग ऑनलाइन ब्रांड हो, राइट? एक लेवल के बाद नहीं बढ़ पाओगे, हमने पहले और D2C तो ये नया वर्ड है जो ये सेशन है ना D2C कुछ नहीं होता D2C I always say this DTC buses होती थी दिल्ली में correct suddenly D2C is now D2C right industry it is getting an industry term it was nothing it was online brand फिर हम गए थोड़ा सा सेल करते थे कहते थे अरे तुम तो Amazon में बेचते हो नहीं हम और भी बेचते हैं हमने Flipkart में बेचना शुरू किया नहीं तुम ये ऑनलाइन में बेचते हो फिर हमने ऑफलाइन बेचना शुरू किया कहते नहीं तुम ऑडियो बेचते हो फिर हमने वेरेबल किया तो ये सब ज्ञान बांटते थे हमारे को जब हम जाते थे राइट so for us we did what we felt was right you know what we were not in a sex industry we were not in the fintech or the deep techs or the food techs or the med techs or the tech techs we were not there we were in a normal industry which was brand hardware driven with good technology being used but not a tech company as such so we were written we were but what we like to do and as a personality I personally feel that people should do what they like doing and they'll do well I am the CMO of the company right and I love marketing I love talking to customers I love sales and I'm doing what I'm loving to do and it doesn't look like work for me right and for my company also in my team if anybody wants to change any division I think that helps that person give the best because he loves so we don't want to run a company big company we never thought कि अब इतनी बड़ी हो गई कंपनी कि हमने बोला बस हमारे बस की नहीं है let's get a professional team who can run a full company who can do what they need to do how to do best and that is the decision which we made and but now Vivek also wants to move on to different things he wants to he's now still relevant and the chairman of the board we wanted to do an IPO and we've withdrawn the IPO papers also because of the turbulent times so it's not that we are not looking we will still maybe 6 months maybe 9 months we'll find another good candidate the company is now very professional we've learned a lot we've got professional people managing it and if there is a good candidate we find we are still Samir and I are ready why don't you take over and let us we can do what we love to do.
Like I think for all of us this could be one of the biggest takeaways is that I think you've not shied away always from saying what you are very good at and marketing and today boat actually is a brand and one of the marketing success case studies from our country क्योंकि हम सब कुछ करना चाहते हैं so maybe one of the things that you could think about this weekend is हम क्या किस चीज में अच्छे हैं और यहाँ हीरो बन सकते हैं now time's up but I will quickly do this I've not asked you any question which we prepared so this is a rapid fire which I want you to answer very
I'm very bad at it
no next time
no even at Coffee with Karan I heard Karan gives the questions before right?
yeah
I don't like this at all.
No, I'm not giving you the question. This is all impromptu. But ये मैं पढ़ रही हूँ अपने लिए कि what are these questions? What comes to your mind when you think of money?
Money. My wife used to manifest, and she calls me money, and that's not right thing, right? So she kept calling me money, and that's what God has been kind with money. So I've asked her to call me double money nowadays. बहुत सारा money.
What's your favorite D2C brand?
Boat only, obviously. Boat, bad question.
Besides boat.
Besides boat, I use one of my portfolio companies only. That it helps. I would say a lot of them. Bad, rapid fire. Wow Cosmetics. Manisha's brand. Manish is a brand.
Your biggest entrepreneurial mistake that you like to share?
Entrepreneurial mistake. I think we did not make the back end. We were not ready for growth, so we grew too fast than what we could chew, and we probably could have been better. We could have. Normally, what happens is people anticipate higher growth. They make big fat companies, and then the growth doesn't come. No, I'm not taking any names. Or should I? No. So for us, we did not make the company as big as the growth happened. And then we realized that boss, itna kuch hai karne ko ki, there are no people in the company. So we should have hired better before. And we should have made the company, maybe it would have been for less profitability, but we were little, so I don't know whether it is good or bad to say that we were too much focused on profitability, which is good, but it was in hindsight also bad, that we should have focused a bit on building systems and structures and then grew, because then the back end would have been able to take the growth. So that's one of the mistakes, I would say.
Aman, what, if you had to say from your journey, what has leadership meant to you? Now, so
leadership for me is, I would say, lead by example. And if there's so many people you give positions to, but people don't like them, people don't follow them. So I think it is, I would say, inborn. And if you are a leader, you will have people following you. So in my company also, we don't like designations, right? And although we have to do it because we are growing and all that. But designation wise, and I've seen people who automatically start leading a group of people. So I think leadership is inborn, and by example is better than by gyan.
Working alone. How do you define happiness for you?
Happiness is. यार अरुण ये क्वेश्चंस नोट कर लो, नेक्स्ट टाइम ना इसका आंसर मैच होगा, वरना अजीब लगता है कि यार क्या what is happiness?
What does it mean to you?
Happiness is to stay happy.
Okay, let me not dig further. Stay happy कैसे रहे आदमी, क्योंकि हम लोग जहाँ हंस के ताली बजा के जाएंगे तो फिर अपने रियल जिंदगी में हैप्पीनेस कैसे हर दिन
अरे वो एक वो कल होना हो देखिए आपने,
हाँ,
तो उसमें एक डायलॉग होता है, वो लास्ट वो बोलता है, शाहरुख खान बोलता है कुछ ऐसा डायलॉग होता है कि हंसो जियो मुस्कुराओ, क्या पता कल होना हो. So I believe in that. You never know what can happen tomorrow. Just have fun, enjoy life. Don't be too serious. Don't take yourself too seriously. Just stay happy.
And one thing which most entrepreneurs and all of us professionally don't do, I want to ask you, you look fitter, all your photo London mein khichwa, Twitter pe dekh you, very good photos. What do you do for your fitness? What do you do?
I don't breathe when I'm taking pictures. Suck it in like full time. इसने ले ली हो, तो 2 मिनट जल्दी बीच. But I don't do shit about fitness. I have to do it. It's not good to say this, but I have to start wearing my boat watch seriously. Not marketing it, but I have to start doing something for fitness. अभी तो जैसे मैं शूट शुरू होने वाला था, उससे 2 महीने पहले रोटी खाना बंद कर देता हूँ, खाली चिकन खाता रहता हूँ, प्रोटीन आता रहता है. But I have to do some exercise. I have to stop my butter chickens. I have to do something for fitness. I'm the wrong person. Don't look at me.
If we had to see you again next year on this stage and say that where do you see both, and where will we see both, and what are the few things that we will see from both, what would you say?
So next year, please call me again. I don't mind. I would say for next year, we did audio very well for last 4 or 5 years, and now we are getting into wearables. We are investing a lot. This year, we've invested huge in the wearable space, and that is exploding. There are, this is the watch space, right? So that is exploding, and we will be focusing a lot on that as a segment. We don't want to open more areas, more segments, more categories, because it's very difficult for us, and we want to focus only on audio last 5 years. Now we want to focus on wearables, get it right, get the team in place, and then move on to probably other things.
You know, I also want to call out that you have done 1 million units manufactured in India, because one of the things was that exporting and you making that happen, make in India. And you've talked about it, so congratulations on that. And before we let you go, Aman, some things, these are questions one asks. But one thing that you'll genuinely, you know, like each one of us to take from your journey, एक चीज जो आप जिए हैं और हम आपसे ले सकते हैं, तो वो क्या है?
पहले तो आप शार्क टैंक देखो, ठीक है? उसमें ये समझ आता है, उसमें मैंने बोला हम भी बना लेंगे, right? And that is not a statement. That is our attitude. I'll tell you why. When we were in India, there were 200 brands in audio. We were not as I said, in an industry which was unexplored. We were in an industry which was already commoditized. There were so many players in India. There were Germans, Japanese, and we thought of a brand which people thought that was you cannot make a brand in something because it's not something new. There is no, जैसे बोलते हैं ना लोग कि gap ढूंढा और उसमें आपने नया brand बनाया, whether it's whatever it is, right? So हमारे तो एक already industry थी जिसमें बना हुआ था, तो उसमें जाके अगर हम बना सकते हैं, so that is a hope with which I tell people that don't think that you cannot do it. So I always say if I could do it, so anybody can do it, right? And that's what I started off with. If I can be here, so can any one of us be here, right? You can also be called to a TiE event. So I remember TiE में फीस होती है आने के लिए 4,000 रुपए लेते हो ना आप लोग से लंच के साथ, right? और पहले तो मेरे पास पैसे भी नहीं होते थे, मैं क्योंकि लंच के टाइम पे कूपन देते थे ये लोग, राइट? तो एक होता था एंट्री पे कोई कूपन नहीं, तो मैं चुपचाप जाके बैठ जाता था, राइट? और फिर लंच नहीं खाता था, So I have done a lot to be where I am, right? I've struggled a lot, and if I could do it, so can you. And secondly, this year there was a beautiful pitch. It was called Flatheads, right? And in that guy was struggling for last 10-11 years. IIT IM guy, doing not well at all. His product was very bad. His pricing was shit. His marketing was very bad. So, and it was everything wrong in this in Flatheads, right? And I saw this guy and I see me in him, right? Because I have failed 5 times, right? And when you fail, it's unfortunately the society society doesn't accept failures as such, right? You still there is a group which I have. तो एक में हमारा फैमिली ग्रुप है, उसका नाम है गुप्ता परिवार, ठीक है? हाँ, तो उसमें क्या होता है ना, सेलिब्रेशंस के बारे में लोग बहुत बात करते हैं, राइट? और जब कोई कर रहा होता है और जो नहीं कर रहा होता ना अच्छा, तो हम सब ना भी लुक डाउन, मतलब उसको ना कि कहाँ है आजकल, अरे कुछ काम नहीं कर रहा। जब हम मिलते भी है, अरे तूने वो बंद कर दिया। There are these masis, chachas, chachis, they all judge you, right? The whole world judges you if you're failing. And as entrepreneurs, you will fail, and it's good to fail. But I have failed, and I like to celebrate my failures, because it's not that you need, as I always say, you don't need 5 successes, right? You can have 100 failures, but you need 1 success. And I'm a living example of that. That try, keep trying. You might fail. But do not stop trying and keep trying, and you will one day, hopefully, inshallah, make it.
No words needed. No words needed. एक चीज तो बनता है कि अच्छे से ताली बजाते हैं दिल्ली में, बहुत